back out there?
Oh yeah, it's like anytime you get to play baseball with facing another team, it's always enjoyable. So it's fun to get back out there and knock a little bit of the rust off and get the jitters going and then have fun. So yeah, it's definitely it's like now you want to play tomorrow, now you want to play the next day. But yeah, it was good.
Do you feel like it's like building when you guys get into camp and then finally you can run out onto the field?
Yeah, no doubt. Just taking first ground ball, seeing the first pitch, it's always gets you going for sure. And definitely like waking up early, like you're ready to go. And so first day of camp's like the first day of school, and this is like your first test or something in school. So yeah, it's good.
And so did you ace the test?
We passed. So yeah, that's good.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all that matters. Yeah, but it was fun. And anytime you get back on the field, opportunities. Grateful for it.
Where do you feel like you're at right now with your swing in your game?
Yeah, I feel good. I feel like I'm in a good spot. Still early in the spring, and so you just take it day by day and get better each and every day, and then you enjoy these moments, and it's gonna be fun.
Felt good having Jonathan get that single, get a board in front of you.
Yeah, oh yeah, seeing him take some hacks, do his thing, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be a fun year.
Just wondering, when you talk about like being consistent with your bat or the offense, how do you go about doing that, working on that to get ready for the season?
Yeah, it's just trying to see many pitches I can, get at bats, put the ball in play, see what happens, and take some good swings, and just be competitive in there. It's me versus him, and so just go out there and enjoy it one pitch at a time. Don't look too far ahead for opening day, whatever it is. Take it one day at a time, get better, and enjoy it.
And then, as you've now been in big league camp for a long time, you're more established as a major leaguer. How do you feel like it's different for you personally now, like knowing what you need to do this year than other years?
Yeah, it's just I take it as the same thing I always come into. Just want to get the body right, make sure that I have enough at bats, make sure that I'm in a good spot when day one starts. And so, like I said before, it's just one day at a time right now, and then make sure I'm in good shape whenever opening day comes around.
You mentioned that you want to work on your base running this offseason and into the spring. How is that coming along?
Yeah, it's been great. We got good drills that we've been doing, and just I feel fast. Just with the offseason, the work, I feel like I've gotten faster, and so I'm really looking forward to just kind of get on base and kind of make some things happen.
Will you work on like any live reads at all, like on the backfields, not just in games?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, we're working that into kind of starting tomorrow and everything. And so yeah, just trying to make it as game-like as possible, like I'm doing in the cage, like I'm doing on the field, and so get as many game-like reps as possible. So when the games start, I'm ready to go.
And how much of it is like you know who the pitcher is and what they're doing versus just like you knowing you and what you can do?
Yeah, that's why you do your homework. That's why you got to prepare, and that's the biggest part of this game is how you prepare, how well you can prepare, and just make sure you're ready for each and every day.
Think you'll get a couple steals in Cactus League games at all?
Possibly. You got to see where we're at for sure.
You made your first day of school. Got some homework you're going to go home and do now?
Just be ready for tomorrow. Get some treatment, recovery. That's the biggest thing is just make sure you feel good each and every day.
Getting a Royals uniform on and getting onto the field with your teammates for the first time?
It was definitely awesome. I'm glad to be here, to be a part of it. It's a really good team, so I'm excited to see what we can do this year. The lineup's long, and the pitching staff's incredible, so it's going to be a fun year for sure.
First hit, get it out of the way?
Yeah. It was good. It was a good little single, and I felt good today in the box, and my timing was on, so I felt solid today playing.
Does the walk kind of tell you that you're doing things right?
Yeah, for sure. In my second at bat, I wanted to get a swing off right away, and he just made a good pitch. But yeah, it's my game, see pitches and compete, and I did that my last at bat.
Did you get any? I don't think you got any fly balls out there.
Got none. I got a couple ground balls, but no fly balls. No fly balls.
So you got to get back out there.
Yeah, I'll be out there again for sure. Yeah.
Did it feel any different going onto the grass versus?
Oh yeah, it's definitely different. It's you're farther away from the hitter. It's my first time being out there in a game, so yeah, it's a little different. But I'm up for the challenge. We'll see what happens.
How has the work been with Damon trying to just get adjusted to being out there?
It's good. It's been good. He's been helping me a lot, giving me a lot of good tips. It's different angles you got to take to the ball, so he's helped me with that. And just getting comfortable in general out there is what he's helped me with the most.
What do you think is the biggest learning curve for you out there in left field?
I think it's the angles. Like I said, like make sure you read the ball off the bat the right way because you're farther away from the hitter. So for me, it's making sure I make the right move my first step. Make sure I don't come in right away because confidence is a big part. So I gotta be ready to be running around a little bit out there.
Did it help? Playing in Surprise Stadium is pretty big itself, just to get you prepared for what's off the main ring.
I think so. I mean, it felt pretty big out there. I didn't have a fly ball, so I couldn't really tell. But yeah, I mean, it's the same game. I got to make sure that mentally I'm locked in and I'm playing the same game. So no matter where I'm at, it's gonna be the same guy.
How do you feel with just the arm strength? Making longer throws from out there rather than second.
It's definitely different. So I mean, I definitely got to get my arm a little stronger. But they said for now, just hit the cutoff, make sure make a good throw in, and that's all we care about. It's just about getting the load on your legs out there and getting some rings off the bat.
Do you feel like when athletes get out there, you just go all out sometimes?
Yeah.
I know that's how you play your game. Do you feel like you'll be able to just
kind of slow down a little bit? Yeah. I guess. Yeah, we'll see. It definitely is a little bit different out there. You got to stay more focused because you're farther away and it gets a little lonely out there. So definitely got to stay more focused and make sure I'm locked in for every pitch.
How do you manage? All right, I'm working in left field for a couple of days now. I'm gonna go back to the infield. How do you compartmentalize that just going forward?
They do a good job here of helping me with that. They make sure I'm not doing a lot in the outfield. They just want me to make sure I get my first step, almost perfect, so I can make the good reads, and then I get my infield work. So infield, is what I've played my whole life, so I can kind of give away some of that to make sure I get some reads off the bat in the outfield.
Do you lean on any of your teammates? I know MJ Melendez made a similar jump to the outfield in his career, Cal Isbell and things like that.
Yeah, I definitely have some questions. What is your movements? What makes it easier? How do you start? But yeah, they definitely helped me a little bit with that aspect.
When you talk about just getting your arm stronger, is that just with long toss or in the weight room? How do you go about it?
Yeah, it's definitely just throwing more long toss. Making sure you do a lot of long toss and be in the training room taking care of my arm and making sure I'm not gonna really change the angle of my arm, but just making sure my arm's healthy to be out there.
Behind you that it's just a smooth breeze having Bobby and those guys behind. They're super encouraging, and I was ready to go. It was good.
Any nerves or excitement, I guess?
No, I get nervous usually in the bullpen. Is kind of my nervous excitement, and maybe just during the day, kind of just waiting around. Just super excited. I'm an adrenaline junkie, so I'm super excited. But once I got on the mound and threw the first warm-up pitch, I was good.
You only threw 13 pitches. Did you have to give in any extra at all? Or?
Yeah, Sweeney mentioned it, but he's like, maybe next week if we do it again. But he said today, just take it in, and he just said good job and have a light day today. So
I imagine the efficiency felt pretty good.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, guys want to swing. I'm all for it. So.
Had family and friends listening in, but do you know for the game today?
Oh yeah, a lot of them back home. All of them obviously wish they were watching, but I think it's maybe not video broadcasted, so they were all listening on the radio and following along.
How do you manage the adrenaline, just not letting it overtake you while you're about to go out there?
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely there for sure. I love being amped up. I think sometimes when I get too amped, I rush a little bit. But I think it's just part of the game, and especially at this level, it's definitely gonna be there every start for sure. So I love it.
Did you have a plan on what you wanted to throw, or just kind of feeling it out? First one?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, like we know, I'm not a super big fastball guy, and more kind of leaning on the off-speed stuff, especially early in the count. So that's kind of what we did, and we just kind of established, obviously, only 13 pitches, so but established it as much as we could for the limited amount of pitches that I threw.
How are you approaching this camp? Your first one, but you're on the 40-man roster, competing for a spot even. I mean, what's kind of going through your head as you go through these next couple of weeks?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, just enjoy kind of where I'm at. It's a lot different vibe, especially just being over in the other locker room to here, and it's been awesome just being around the guys, especially Bobby and Salvi and the guys that I've kind of looked up to my whole life. So it's been really cool, just kind of taking it every day. Obviously, we're trying to earn a spot, and if that doesn't happen, that's totally okay. Whatever the team needs me to do to earn that spot or earn a different spot, obviously they know that I'm all for it. So just trying to help the team and trying to make something happen.
I imagine things are different being on the 40-man roster, just going into the year knowing you're in AAA and you also are on the roster.
Yeah, for sure. Last year obviously we thought that we had a chance to maybe make a push there at the end and maybe make my debut, but that didn't happen, which is totally fine. So now knowing that we're on the 40-man and they've reassured me a ton of times like you're going to be helping our team out. In some capacity. So definitely just knowing that is encouraging and definitely gives me confidence knowing that they believe that I should be there. So we're just taking it one day at a time and trying to get there. So.
How did you find out you were on the roster?
Oh, shoot. Somebody asked me this. I got a call from Lonnie Goldberg.
Okay.
I think it was Lonnie and Matt Price, who was the scout that drafted me, and they told me, they're like, hey, you're going to be taking us out to dinner on your new little salary increase. So that was super fun just to have them. I've just had a history with them kind of over the last few years, so it was cool to hear it from them.
What goes through your mind when you hear something like that?
Yeah, obviously we were hoping for it. I wouldn't say necessarily expecting it, but definitely hoping for it. And they know that I want to be here. They know that I want to be in Kansas City for the rest of my life. So it was just hopefully they did, and obviously they did. So
how do you celebrate this, achievement for you today and moving forward?
Yeah, today it was just another day on the mound. I think obviously we're going to take our wins when we get them for sure, but just start preparing for next week, for 5 days from now, and have a bullpen in a couple days and just kind of take what we did out there and just build off of it. So yeah, sweet. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Felt good. And that didn't necessarily feel like as smooth as I'd like to feel, but felt like my executions were pretty good. Threw a lot of good changeups. My cutter hasn't been that great in camp, and it was really good today, so I was happy with that, the progress I made on that. And then, it's hard with 2 innings to think about like the pitch usages, but I was kind of just get the first one out of the way, so felt really good.
So did you use all of your pitches?
Yes, I did. Threw 1 curveball, but yeah, I used all my pitches.
Was that and just to kind of get it going, get them all?
No, that just seemed like the right pitch at the time. So, yeah.
Can you take me through that at bat with Seager there? Was that a slider that you got him on?
Yes. He's a really good fastball hitter. He's a really good hitter overall, but really good fastball hitter. So I just felt like try to attack him inside with a heater and just challenge him, and then obviously tried to go up and went a little too high. That ball's a little slippery, but and then just slider down and away. Just pretty well executed pitch.
How much did the aggressiveness of pitching out of the bullpen last year kind of help you in this start as you went and attacked early?
It's really hard to tell because it wasn't like when I went to the bullpen I switched to be like a 2-pitch guy or something. So I didn't really feel like there was that much difference. Obviously, like the nerves and the kind of buildup of the day was kind of something that I hadn't had in a while. That was good, but other than that, I didn't feel too much different.
You mentioned the cutter. Is that a pitch you'd like to throw a little bit more coming into this year?
It's kind of going to be like role dependent, I would say.
Role dependent?
Yeah, just because there's limited batters, there's limited, but I do think that it's always something that I want to have, in my back pocket. I think it's a good pitch to good fastball hitters that isn't changeup or slider. It's kind of gives them a different look. So I think it could be valuable, especially if I'm starting.
Sweet.
How do you view your bench in the early part of camp right now and the decisions that you have to make as you get further into spring training?
Well, I guess my view of it is they're all going to get opportunities, right? A lot of the decisions are going to be in the outfield, and they're going to rotate through there. The guys that we've talked about, Prado, Waters, Weimer, Velasquez, leave somebody out, I'm sure, when I start trying to name people, but they're all going to get opportunities. Sometimes they're going to be coming off the bench, sometimes they're going to be starting. They're going to play early on pretty much every other day. Some guys will go back to back, but guys are going to get at bats and see what they can do.
What sort of decisions do you have to make about that group of guys for you to decide who best fits?
There's all kinds of factors, right? Some guys are out of options, some guys have options, some guys have speed, some guys are more power, some guys are defense. So there's a lot of factors to, and how all 13 guys complement each other, not just who the best hitters are or who the best defenders are. We got to see how that puts the best team together.
Is there one way that you're leaning right now in terms of like speed or power?
No, I mean, I think we're open to everything. I mean, there's really no sense in trying to jump to any sort of conclusion now. We haven't played one game. Things are going to happen, right? Hopefully not, but usually injuries are a part of it. Performance is definitely a part of it. There's just all kinds of factors. So there's no sense in, let's just let the guys get out there and play.
India's in left field for the game today. What sort of things are you looking for as far as his comfortability out there at that position?
Well, comfort, yeah. I mean, he's got to get reps. He's got to see balls off the bat. He's got to chase balls down. He's got to hit cutoff men and everything you got to do in the outfield and just getting game reps.
Is it tougher in Arizona than Kansas City outfield?
I mean, I think it depends on the day. I mean, you always hear about high sky here, but there's plenty of days in Kansas City where there's no clouds and during a day game. But I mean, the ball carries really well here. It's a big park. Our park is big here. I mean, the ball does carry more than Kauffman, but it's as close as you can get to the dimensions of our park in Kansas City.
There's a lot of interest and excitement around Caglione back in Kansas City. I was wondering what your messaging to him is and handling those expectations, if there is.
Yeah, I mean, I think I mentioned yesterday, like I'm not saying much to Jack. There's plenty of people to say stuff to him. He understands he's in his first big league camp. He understands that everything's been communicated to him through Mitch Meyer and JJ and those guys. And so I just want him to enjoy himself and go out there and get his at-bats, calm the nerves down, and just play.
What are you hoping to see out of Noah Cameron today, too?
Yeah, it'll be the first time I get to see him live, so I'm interested. I've heard so many good things about him, watch him throw his bullpens and lives. He certainly has done a good job so far, and I'm just interested to see him compete.
What are some of the good things that you hear just about him throughout the minor leagues and last year in AAA?
Well, the first thing most people mention is his changeup and the command of it and how many, he can use it at any time. He looks like he's developed a nice cutter as well, locates his fastball well. He's got good composure, he's physical, so there are a lot of good things.
You mentioned coming in that Volquez would be here, see him walking around. Did you have a relationship with him? And what are you hoping that he can bring to the team?
I had no relationship with him, and as we went through and talked about, with Davey and JJ and everybody, and even with Salvi, like guys that they would want to be back these last couple of years, his name kept coming up. Unfortunately, last year we couldn't figure out the timing, for him and his personal life and stuff, but more than anything, all you hear about him is the teammate and the personality in the clubhouse, and that's really what we're hoping for from any of the guys that come back, is just to show guys what their demeanor is and how they care about each other and how they cared about their teammates at that point. They're not here to work on grips and deliveries or swings and that kind of stuff, but it's more of a resource and just and it's also, we value what they meant to the organization and that history, that tie to those great years they had. And I think that's really important. And for him, for Eddie in particular, being bilingual and being able to influence some of the pitchers and just share his experiences, that's all we're really looking for.
I know the guys from the 70s and 80s have been coming back for years, but last year you saw the 2014, this year. What's the genesis of all that?
Well, the Royals Hall of Famers have always had a week, as far as to my knowledge, and that's incredible. Like, those are the guys that I grew up watching and had respect for and understood how good they were. But this next generation coming back, I mean, I think it ties the successful years. But like I just said, those guys are more than what their stats are on a baseball card. They're great people. They're great teammates. They bring that energy that I think the city thrives on. The organization really revels in their accomplishments. And I think for our guys that are, significantly younger than me, the players that didn't know the guys in the 70s and 80s, these are the guys they watched as they grew up. And some of our guys even played with or against some of these guys. So I think just tying that more recent history together is really important.
Was that thought, did you bring that to the table? Did that start with JJ?
I mean, I think we talked about it. I honestly can't tell you who the first person that had the idea was. I think, you see in different camps it's done different ways. And, I think last year getting Shieldsy back here and Wade and Greg Holland, that was a really great start. And I think they like it. So I can't tell you who had the first thought, but between Davy and myself, and we involved Salvi for sure. I mean, he's a huge part of what was done here as well. And just talking through it and coming up with names. And there's plenty of names we've reached out to that just can't do it. Family obligations, work, whatever the case is. But by and large, these guys really are excited to come back.
Do you think the players embrace it too? The players that you have?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean, the feedback last year was great. Even from like veteran guys like Will Smith and those guys, he really enjoyed having those guys around. And so I would imagine the young guys do as well. And I hope they feel comfortable enough to go up and talk to them. But that's why the personality is important too, so that Volquez will make that easier.
You interested in just seeing how the ABS plays out in the game today, just from your perspective as a manager?
Yeah, I'm interested to see what happens. Yeah, I mean, I'm guessing it'll come up a couple times, but if it doesn't, I'm sure it will at some point here.
Is there any concern or expectation that guys are going to naturally adjust to ABS? For the spring, we're going to have that go away for the regular season and have to readjust back to what normal is?
I'll be honest, I have not given it that much thought. That's a much more in-depth concept than I've thought about. But I mean, you got guys that come up to the big leagues from AAA. They've had to make those adjustments and go back down and readjust. And even in AAA, they've had the half a week is one thing, half a week is the other. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to be that drastic. You're talking about guys are going to get 50-ish at bats. The regular guys will get 50-ish at bats, and not all of them will have that. So I don't think it's going to be too drastic.
Have you talked to your pitchers and catchers about it at all? Or are you kind of letting them lead what they want to do?
No, we talked about it. Yeah, I mean, but we didn't lay out some type of strategy for them. But they are aware of it. They're aware of the mechanics. They know that it's part of what we're doing.
I guess the guys in AAA may use it more just because they're used to it than the guys in the majors.
I don't know. I mean, India might lead off the game and use it. I have no idea. But we're not saying like don't do it in this inning, or I mean, if it comes up, it comes up. That's not something that we're gonna.
Does it have an impact at all on how you evaluate guys drawing walks or taking strikeouts, both as hitters or pitchers, walking guys or not, or striking out guys?
Again, I have not put that much thought into the ABS. I mean, today will be day one. If something really becomes prevalent over these couple days that we really need to evaluate differently or not, then we'll adjust. But I have not put that much thought into it.